Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil Remake. In the last part we further explored the lab underneath the mansion, not only found where Jill is, but we've also reunited with Rebecca, and now it's time for us to soldier off to the end of the game. Now I want to say the moment you're in that elevator you're locked into this segment, but make sure you have at least 2 healing items and your best weapon on you, especially if it's the magnum, because that'll certainly save you some grief with what's coming up here. Let's see what the innermost sections of the lab has hidden.
Wesker.
So you've come. Chris, you make me proud. But of course you are one of my men.
Thanks. Since when, Wesker?
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Since when have they been slipping you a paycheck?
I think you're a bit confused. I've always been with Umbrella. And stars were umbrellas. No, rather, my little piggies. The Tyrant virus leaked, polluting this whole place, and unfortunately, I had to give up my lovely members of S.T.A.R.S.
You killed them with your own dirty hands! You son of a bitch!
No.
Oh yes, dear. Just like this.
Rebecca!
Don't move!
You...
I don't think you want to die just yet. I have something that's of some interest to you. The ultimate life form. Tyrant.
Wesker, you've become senile.
Chris, you'll never understand. It's magnificent.
Wesker! Come on, you test tube freak.
The Tyrant is slow, but has the damage to back it up. He has a continuous claw attack, if memory serves, that can really get you down pretty quickly. As long as you get some good distance in this specific room, a full magnum clip should take him down just about. But if you let him get too close, you're gonna pay for that. Damn, he caked up though, huh? Alright. 5 bullets down, 19 to go. Let's hope we still have to use them. Is Rebecca okay?
Rebecca!
Chris.
It's a good thing you were wearing your bulletproof vest. There's nothing left for us to do here. Let's get moving.
Okay.
Something about the way they talk about the bulletproof vest there reminds me of the "he's in a coma" line from the G.I. Joe movie after the Optimus Prime situation. What a pathetic way to die. He's holding something. Observation note. The discovery of the G virus was in fact 21 years after the administration of the primogenitor virus. The prototype parasite which we had delivered from a laboratory in France was administered to the sample specimen. The sample specimen took in the parasite without showing any signs of adverse reaction. The lack of any reaction was an unsolved mystery, but now everything is clear to me. The prototype parasite was incubated in the sample specimen's body for 21 years. Then from that incubating state, the prototype suddenly mutated. Evolved may be a more appropriate word to describe it. This observation gave me more insight in my research. Through further modification and testing, I was able to derive a method to create the G that surpasses the performance of the T. This was the breakthrough that would change the future of the BOW's history. I can't wait to see the look on Alexia's annoying face when I finally announce my research, but unfortunately I'll have to wait a few more years to completely verify my findings. William Birkin. And thus we get ties not only to Resi 2, but a little bit of Code Veronica there as well. So if you try to actually check the door during the Tyrant fight, it's locked. So before we actually leave the room, you want to come over here and investigate this to release the emergency electronic lock. Thus we can actually escape this area. Notably, it's at this point I check my files to see what I got throughout the game. Like I mentioned, I'm missing 2, but I'm only missing 1 because 1 is Jill playthrough exclusive. The other one is over in the AV room where we watched Kenneth's video last time in a bookshelf in the corner. So I could have grabbed that, I just forgot to. Whoops. Now, we're at Endgame at this point, but there is one more notable, like, safe checkpoint between now and 2 cutscenes from now. You can still use the safe room that we entered in this part of the lab last time. In case you need to do any inventory management, I can recommend doing that there. But you could also just use the final safe box you walk past in the game, which there's one more anyway, to do any last-second checks if you need to. With Wesker dead, the Tyrant down, all we need to do is just get the hell out of here and take this place out while we're at it, hopefully.
Chris?
What is it?
I found a file in the lab. Apparently, there's still a lot of Tyrant virus here. We should blow this whole place up.
Right. The show must go on. I'll leave that up to you, Rebecca.
I'm on it. I'll start the self-destruct system I found a little while ago.
It's not like we're out of this yet. I'll see you on the outside.
Outside.
Notably, I believe if you didn't save Rebecca, you get a master key to go set off the self-destruct system yourself from Wesker's corpse. But since I saved her, I don't need to do that.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel must evacuate immediately. Deactivating and releasing all locks.
And thus the self-destruct has started, but we don't have a timer yet, thankfully. But note the PA system mentioned that all locks are released. It's at this point we can go rescue Jill or Chris, depending on which playthrough you're doing. Also be careful in that O-shaped room. If you go the long way around, a lot more chimeras spawn in, and that are likely to hit you at least once. If you go the way I did, there's only one that spawns in, and it's a lot less likely to reach you in time. Now, if memory serves, like I mentioned last time, as long as you've had all 3 ammo discs get read by the time this goes off, you can just come down here and rescue the opposite playable character. But thinking about it, you might even be able to further explore the lab a little bit and actually still put the ammo discs into the reader. Not that I've ever really played the game like that. Locks released. Let's save our friend here.
And releasing all locks.
Jill, sorry I made you wait.
I knew you'd come.
Let's get out of here.
All personnel must evacuate immediately. Deactivating and releasing all locks.
And with that, we've effectively guaranteed ourselves the best ending. At least a better ending. There's still one more thing we have to execute on to get the best ending, technically. But it's pretty easy to do that as long as you have enough magnum ammo in your stockade to keep up some damage effectively.
The self-destruct system has been activated.
Let's get going!
All personnel must evacuate.
With that done, our next destination is to head back to the room that the elevator that took us to the lab brought us to. Where there was that lock that said it only opens in extreme emergencies. Admittedly, that's where reading the note that I read last time without having found the note would have come a little bit more in handy, because it says again that it's open to executive uses no matter what, but otherwise only in emergencies. And well, I'd say self-destruct system's a little bit of an emergency, wouldn't you? Also, little moment of kindness the game actually pulls on you here. If you come to this room through any other door in it, there's a zombie down that staircase by default, but if you come through the door that's next to the staircase, that zombie has been moved elsewhere just so you don't get blindsided the moment you enter a room. Mind you, the game does that a couple of other times, but I'm at least glad they don't do it there, because that would just be weirdly cruel. I could recommend saving here, but I'm pretty much good at this point. I maybe might recommend bringing an extra healing item, but make sure you have at least one inventory space open for the end game, as we need to pick up an item on our way over to it. So this next room is our destination. It's where the door that's now unlocked is, as well as the elevator that brought us into the lab in the first place. But notably, if you save the opposite playable character they're standing here, I always feel like you should be able to talk to them and get a line of dialogue, but no such thing exists to my knowledge. I mean, I guess what they have to say besides, let's get the hell out of here, but always feels like there was a missed opportunity there. Also, should you need any shotgun shells or some extra helions, there are some here in this hallway, but I don't really need them at this point.
This is Brad. We're running out of fuel. This is our last chance. If there's anyone alive, give me a sign. I repeat, this is your last chance.
Man, Brad's had a really stressful day, just circling the rough area probably for hours on end, trying to see any sign of anyone. Mind you, between both Alpha and Bravo teams spread across Resident Evil 0 and either version of 1, Brad's probably had a pretty good day compared to a lot of the other S.T.A.R.S members, especially given how many of them are, you know, dead. So this fuse unit is a key item we need to reach the next room. They place it right next to where you need to use it because they want to guarantee you have a slot open for the final encounter. This is why I left an inventory space open earlier. Let's place the fuse unit in and go up that elevator towards, hopefully, our escape route.
3 minutes to detonation.
The self-destruct system's activated.
Good work. Brad's up in the helicopter.
Those things are coming.
I'll take care of them.
But,
Chris, you just get in contact with Brad somehow.
okay.
You know, I feel like going up the elevator together is the safer option here, considering most enemies in the game don't seem to be able to do anything about elevators or doors in some cases even. Although chimeras might be able to chase us up an elevator shaft, I suppose, considering that's more than likely what would be chasing us at this point in the lab section. Hunters wouldn't be able to do jack shit. Zombies definitely wouldn't be able to, that's for certain. Welcome to our final destination. This is the heliport. This item right here is why they made you have a free inventory slot through the fuse unit before the elevator, thus that you could have a free inventory slot before the timer started so you wouldn't have to backtrack. This signal rocket, pyrotechnic signal rockets, I could signal Brad with this. We just need to go over to the center heliport, use them, and Brad will be called for, and our final moments will begin.
Chris!
You okay?
Yeah.
I just noticed there's an instrument in that song that's right out of Mega Man Legends. Final boss is Tyrant Round 2, and he's a lot more aggressive. He'll outright sprint at you to try and grab you now, and I believe he does have an instant-kill attack with a grab in specific. Notably, Rebecca can get killed here. In fact, if you're playing as Jill, Barry's fighting alongside you here, and he can also get killed. When I said rescuing the other playable character is effectively the guarantee for the best ending, this is why, because there is still a chance that the other person can die here. Albeit, as long as you have a shitload of magnum ammo like we do, the chances of that are pretty low because the Tyrant will be largely focusing on you due to your higher damage output compared to Rebecca or Barry.
Chris, use it! Kill it, whatever it is!
My ultimate advice is to take 2 or 3 shots in a row before either regenerating your ammo through your menu or running away because it will try to dash you at that point. Grab the rocket launcher Brad drops, equip it, and fire away, and your game is completed. Ow! I do believe he can reflect the rocket launcher back at you, but I think that might be a difficulty-based thing. I've been running that bit for a decade. that's Resident Evil Remake as Chris. Like I mentioned earlier on the LP, some years down the line I might come back to remaking the original to do the opposite playthrough and just consider both LPs complete at that point. But as for Remake itself as Chris, this is a fantastic remake. They leave enough there that if you know the original, it's a fun trip through memory lane, but they change enough stuff up that for veterans and newcomers alike, you get a really fresh feeling journey here. What few things end up feeling underutilized are mechanics like Lisa Trevor. I think they could have done more with her, especially through another bonus difficulty. But as it is, this does well to make Resident Evil 1 blend in a little bit more with the games that came after it tonally in a way I appreciate. And its level design really is really neat. Not my favorite classic-styled Resi, but it's definitely up there. I think about it, if I had to rank them bottom to top, it would be Resident Evil Gaiden, because I'm counting that as one, damn it. Code Veronica, because for every really cool thing that game does, its level design just shoots it in the foot to me. Zero, but only just barely, because I like the level design a lot in that one, even if I hate the inventory mechanics. Then it's probably Resi 3, because while I love a lot of the level design there, I hate dealing with Nemesis in such a way that it actually detracts from the experience for me. And then we get to the three I regularly come back to in any form, which are this, which is a really cool update to the original game that has a lot of cool bells and whistles, but some of them are just annoying enough to deal with that I don't like coming back to it that often as much as the next two, namely the Crimson Heads in specific, if I had to worry about dealing with them inventory management-wise. Then it's the original game, which is just a super solidly designed one of these, even with its age moments. But it's not as fun for me to revisit as the original Resident Evil 2. I think everything that the first game does well, the second game generally does better, even if it's got slightly less interesting level design. Also, I love this soundtrack so goddamn much. I love this game a lot. I recommend it. Kind of a bittersweet feeling, though. Unless Capcom makes a new one of these in any form, we're done with classic-styled Resident Evil, at least in terms of the main games. There's some adjacent spin-offs that are similar to it, at least.
Chris, you did a fine job.
Notably, before I get into the thought I was about to get into, your endgame unlocks depend on your character, difficulty, and end time. For what I've done, we're going to get Real Survival, the Costume Key, and the Samurai Edge handgun, which I believe is a more powerful, unlimited ammo handgun for the character you played it with on the next difficulty mode. I want to say to get the infinite ammo rocket launcher, you need to beat the game in like under 3 hours or so off the top of my head. Future me, correct me on that, please. But yeah, with all the classic-styled mainline Resident Evils out of the way, that means we're moving on to the genre shift. Next time we return to Resident Evil, we're going to be heading into Resident Evil 4, the big one, which I'm really looking forward to because that is just one of my favorite games ever. Notably, I am going to be playing the 2005 version first. I want to do 4 Remake after I've done 2 and 3 Remake. And I'm not going to do those at least until after I've done at least Resident Evil 4, maybe even Resident Evil 5. We'll see what I feel like when we finish Resi 4, though. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Take care. And I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whenever that may be. See you guys then.